My heart is where the Hebrew home is. For where the heart is, that's where you find the Hebrew home. Hebrew home, Hebrew home. Good morning, Hebrew home. My heart is where the Hebrew home is. For where the heart is, that's where you find the Hebrew home.
Good morning, everyone. This is Olivia Cohen coming in live from the Studio B here at Hebrew Home, and this is Good Morning Hebrew Home. Today is Monday, June 7th. The time is 10:31 a.m. We have a great show planned for you today. Joining us today is co-host Chip Reese. Welcome back, Chip.
Thank you.
We love having you on.
Good to be here.
First, let's take a look at the weather in our neck of the woods. Today will be partly cloudy this morning, a few showers developing during the afternoon. High 87 degrees,
Hello.
Right? Winds southwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. And chance of rain today is 30%. But it has been a hot couple of days, huh?
Yeah, really, yesterday. Ooh.
Yesterday was a doozy. Okay. We're going to move on to this day in history. June 7th, 1955. The $64,000 question, the popular U.S. television game show that reached the #1 rating spot in 1955 or 1956 begins. Did you ever watch that show?
Yeah, then it got dumped off the radio, off the TV because they thought that somebody was cheating.
Wow, I didn't know
That
that.
was the end part of the story.
So the contestant would choose a category to answer questions, then be asked questions in the chosen category. Each question answered correctly would double the amount of money earned, starting at $1 and going up to $64,000 after 17 correct answers. So that happened. 1966. The former actor Ronald Reagan enters politics when he is elected governor of California. And moving to 1982, Graceland is opened to the public for the first time almost 5 years after the death of Elvis Presley. So it's Graceland. I've always wanted to go there.
Yeah, they say it's fascinating. Mm-hmm. I remember the night I heard it on the radio. Well, it was hot summer nights. I was driving from one area to another in Baltimore. I had to stop, but this was really taken. I'm not a big fan of Elvis, but I like his music.
Okay. I hear myself.
So sad.
Yeah. So, national days. National Chocolate Ice Cream Day is today.
I'll vote for that.
You'll vote for that?
I'll vote for that.
I will too. What a day. What a nice hot day to have ice cream too.
Yeah, for real.
So I hope everyone partakes in that. It's also a National VCR Day. We don't have a lot of those anymore.
No,
that much.
Scarce.
I see remnants of it here sometimes, every once in a while. And then we have National Oklahoma Day.
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, where the wind comes.
I'm sure to tell Al and Julia.
Oh, yeah. Good, good. So those are our national days for today. Moving on to our resident birthdays. We have one resident birthday, Delia. Happy birthday, Delia. Our staff birthdays today, we have Claudia from nursing, Grace from nursing, and Sylvita from nursing administration. So happy birthday to our staff. And our famous birthday for today is Prince, or the artist formerly known as Prince. His full name was Rogers Nelson. He was born June 7th, 1958 in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Prince was a major figure in popular music for over 3 decades. The singer-songwriter was known for his eclectic work, his flamboyant stage presence, and his wide vocal range. Prince sold over 100 million records worldwide and has won 7 Grammy Awards, a Golden Globe, and an Academy Award. So, happy birthday to all. Let's move over and see what food service is cooking up for us. Let's start with our non-kosher lunch today, or non-kosher meals for today. Lunch will be meatloaf, mushroom gravy, peas with fresh mashed potatoes, and dessert will be a black and white cookie. Dinner, we have for dinner today, soup will be mushroom barley soup. Entree will be fish croquettes, stewed tomatoes, and dessert will be pound cake. Our kosher meals for today, our entree for lunch will be cheese-crusted fish with Spanish rice, creamed cauliflower, and for dessert, fresh grapes. Dinner will be chicken consomme soup, a chicken patty, Israeli couscous, ratatouille, and dessert will be a pound cake. So those are our meals for today. All right, which brings us, I'm going to pass it over to Chip now for what he has for us today.
Well,
so happy to have it.
Liv, I thought that what we might do today is look back on something that happened on the 20th of January this past year. And it involved Joe Biden's inauguration, President Joe Biden. And in the midst of such chaos, they actually held it at the Capitol, which I was glad to hear. They overcame a lot of the mess that had gone on there about 2 weeks earlier. And featured in this, part of the feature, was a young woman named Amanda Gorman. Amanda was a young woman, Afro-American, who turned out to be very poetic. And she read I put together a work called The Hill We Climb. And you'll see in the poem as it works out what that means. But I thought it was worth our RiverSpring again, so we don't forget. If anyone wants to borrow the book, I have it here. We're going to take a reading. Liv and I are going to share it and just read from the prompter here.
Great, so we'll zoom in on the words so you guys can all read along with us.
Yes. Okay. The Hill We Climb by Amanda Gorman. When day comes, we ask ourselves, where can we find light? In the never-ending shade, the loss we carry, a sea we must wade. We brave the belly of the beast. We've learned that quiet isn't always peace. And the norms and notions of what just isn't always justice. And the dawn is ours before we knew it. Somehow we do it. Somehow we've weathered and witnessed a nation that isn't broken, just simply unfinished. We're the successors of a country at a time, where a skinny black woman can dream of becoming president, only to find ourselves reciting for one. And yes, we are far from polished, far from pristine. But that doesn't mean we are striving to form a union that is perfect. We're striving towards a union with purpose, to compose a country committed to all cultures, colors, characters, and conditions of men.
And so we lift our gazes not to what stands between us, but what stands before us. We close the divide because we know to put our future first, we must first put our differences aside. We lay down our arms so we can reach out our arms to one another. We seek harm to none and harmony for all. Let the globe, if nothing else, say this is true. That even as we grieved, we grew. That even as we hurt, we hoped. That even as we tired, we tried. That we'll forever be tied together, victorious. Not because we will ever again know defeat, but because we will never again sow division. Scripture tells us to envision that everyone shall sit under their own vine and fig tree, and no one shall make them afraid. If we're to live up to our own time, then victory won't lie in the blade, but in all the bridges we've made. That is the promise to Glade, the hill we climb. If only we dare. It's because being American is more than a pride we inherit. It's the past we step into and how we repair it.
We've seen a force that would shatter our nation rather than share it, would destroy our country if it meant delaying democracy. And this effort very nearly succeeded. But while democracy can be periodically delayed, it can never be permanently defeated. In this truth, in this faith we trust. For while we have our eyes on the future, history has its eyes on us. This is the era of just redemption we feared at its inception. We did not feel prepared to be the heirs of such a terrifying hour. But within it, we found the power to author a new chapter, to offer hope and laughter to ourselves. So while once we asked, how can we possibly prevail over catastrophe? But move to what shall be, a country that is bruised but whole, benevolent but bold, fierce and free. We will not be turned around or interrupted by intimidation, because we know our inaction and inertia will be the inheritance of the next generation.
Our blunders become their burdens, but one thing is certain. If we merge mercy with might and might with right, then love becomes our legacy and change our children's birthright. So let us leave behind a country better than the one we were left with. Every breath from my bronze-pounded chest, we will raise this wounded world into a wondrous one. We will rise from the gold-limbed hills of the west. We will rise from the wind-swept northeast, where our forefathers first realized revolution. We will rise from the lake-rimmed cities of the Midwestern states. We will rise from the sun-baked south. We will rebuild, reconcile, and recover. In every known nook of our nation and every corner called our country, our people diverse and beautiful will emerge, battered and beautiful. When day comes, we step out of the shade, aflame and unafraid, for a new dawn blooms as we free it.
For there is always light, if only we're brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it. And that's it. But I'd like to just taking apart the poem a little bit. I like what she says, speaks about wondrous and beautiful, battered and beautiful. Mm-hmm. She says she's what they call alliteration to really get across the message very well. Mm-hmm. So, and also she does actually rhyme. I'm happy about that because most of the poems I write are kind of sing-song.
Right.
They're sort of rhyming.
Right.
My brother's always getting on my case about that. I write a poem that has some oomph to it.
Uh-huh.
It's not such a rhyme, but I like the way it does. And she has what they call internal rhyme. Mm-hmm. She rhymes within the little section that we read.
Right.
So, very clever. She got an endorsement and the foreword done by Oprah Winfrey.
Wow.
It's interesting.
Can you hold up the book to the camera, Chip,
Yeah.
so people can see it?
There it is.
There we go.
The hill we climb. You heard that in the poem.
Right.
And I think that's sort of a double meaning. They climb to the Capitol Hill, and they also, it's the hill we keep on climbing to overcome some of the junk that we've seen. And I was just fascinated by it, and we were able to share it.
Mm-hmm. It's such a beautiful poem. What made you bring that to us today?
Well, I just thought, then hearing that there's going to be an election type thing, preparing for that today, I added to it.
Very
I
fitting.
didn't know that. So it was, so I had the book and I thought, it'd be good for everybody to hear and think about it again. And she certainly did a great job. She captured the feeling of what was going on right now, what had going on in our country. And she talked about saving democracy and our country. It's kind of one of the same tasks.
Right.
And I just thought it would just be a good idea to share it with everybody.
Right.
Because sometimes it's nice to hear it. I remember when Maya Angelou did her poem for Bill Clinton's inauguration. That was very special, but it really wasn't. I don't think I couldn't remember it completely. But it's just, I think I did remember most of it. And so I hope you enjoy it. And I hope that we can grow from stuff like this. And that's about it.
Very beautiful. Thank you for bringing that today.
You're welcome.
You always have such wonderful things to share with us.
Well, one more thing to share with you. Look, if you're in Barnes & Noble or you have a newsstand that sells lots of the magazines,
Right.
find Forbes magazine, the issue for June, and it applies really to most of us. It has the article in there that extends beyond the article, 50 women over 50, which focuses not just on everybody,
Right.
but specifically people like Madeline Albright and a couple of the others are featured in there.
Wonderful.
I haven't got it yet, but I'm hoping to get it.
People look out for that, guys. You get the sneak peek or the scoop right here. You heard it here from Chip.
Yep.
It's a good one to look into.
I'm
Well,
calling
Chip-
Forbes today to get a commission.
Yeah, good question. I want to thank you for bringing the poem in today. It's really beautiful, and I found myself just inspired by it.
Yeah.
Starting off today, it was a wonderful way to start off the morning. So thank you
Great.
for bringing that today.
Sure.
As always, everybody, please feel free to give us a call. Any good news you've heard and would like to share on the show, you can do so by dialing 2813. If you're watching on YouTube, feel free to leave us a comment, hit that like button, or hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. Remember to tune into Channel 8 later today. We have What's the Story with Kate at 11:15, Wellness with Deborah at 1:30, and today we actually have a special election program happening with Beth Smith, everybody, which will take place in the Winter Garden. But if you're not able to make it down to the Winter Garden, it'll also be on Channel 8 today as well. It's a election day special just to help you guys get prepared for the upcoming election, so you know who the candidates are and what is going on with this ranked choice voting. So there'll be handouts and stuff to help everybody make their informed votes. So you can check that out later today. Also on Channel 88, we have at 4 o'clock, Derot presents Qigong. And if you miss any portion of this episode, you can catch it again at 6:30 on Channel 88. That's our show for today, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Once again, this has been Olivia Cohen with Good Morning Hebrew Home, joined today by
Chip Reese.
Chip Reese. We will see you tomorrow, same time, same place, same channel. Cohen and
Chip.
out.
Double C.
Double C.
Double C Ranch.